Diego, we may be apart.
And now, more than ever,
we need each other.
That is why the San Diego Foundation
is connecting us through the San Diego COVID-19 Community Response Fund.
Through food security, financial support, and emergency supplies.
Your donations will help the people
and organizations
in our community most affected by the coronavirus.
San Diego,
we may be apart,
but together
we can get better.
Please go to sdfoundation.org/COVID-19 to make a donation or to start a fund today.
Welcome back to Good Morning San Diego. That right there was the PSA for the San Diego COVID-19 Community Response Relief Fund. Joining us over the phone right now with more details on this COVID-19 Community Response Fund is the foundation's president, vice president, and chief development officer at the San Diego Foundation, Brian Zumbano. Good morning to you, Brian.
Good morning.
Thanks for being on. This foundation, the San Diego Foundation, has partnered up with local leaders. You guys did so about a month ago to create San Diego COVID-19 Community Response. We just saw a lovely PSA about it. Tell us more about how it's been this last month.
Well, as you mentioned, we did partner with some local leaders, both Supervisor Nathan Fletcher, SDG&E, and others back on March 16th to launch the COVID-19 Community Response Fund, and for the purpose of generating philanthropy so we could get dollars out the door to the nonprofits who are on the front lines, really, helping those in our community who are the most vulnerable right now.
And how much money have you guys been able to raise in the last month?
Well, to date, we've raised a little bit more than $14 million from more than roughly 3,000 individual, corporate, and foundation donors. And another number we're really excited about is not just what's been raised, but $9.9 million has actually gone out the door to date to those nonprofits doing all the great work in the community.
Wow, that's a lot of money. A little over $9 million towards different nonprofits. Give us an example of what some of these nonprofits are, if you can kind of paint the picture for us.
Of course. Well, when we started, we realized we wanted to get emergency funding to people who needed it the most, and a big focus area was food. Unfortunately, there's just so many in our community that just do not have food on the table. So that was what we wanted to address and prioritize, and we were able to get significant funding to organizations like the Jacob Cushman Food Bank, Feeding San Diego, and others. And recently, we started looking at what's next. How do we rebuild? And we just announced a $1 million grant to the YMCA for summer camps for low-income families. So when people start going back to work, there's a safe, healthy place for their children to be so they can go to work and know their children are in a safe space.
And that is going to be I should say, I've heard from a number of people who are very concerned about that, families who are a little nervous. I mean, obviously they want to get back to work because they need to pay bills, they need to pay their mortgage, they need to pay their rent, but they're worried that, with schools not opening up, if they don't open up around the same time, they're going to be left with a dilemma of where they're going to put their kids.
Well, that's the challenge we're facing right now. We're pivoting from emergency funding to resiliency funding in our community, and we need to keep generating dollars to get them out the door because as we reopen, there's families who, as you said, don't have a place to put their children. They have to get back. Businesses have to be healthy. We've actually launched a zero to low interest loan fund, not only for nonprofits, but for small businesses. So as they look to get back, they have dollars to pay their employees, open the doors, and help get us back, get going again.
And so what's the need now? What is it? How long is this Community Response Fund going to be up and running for? I mean, is this an indefinite type of fund? And how do people contribute? Who do you want at this point to help?
Well, I'm glad you asked because you're right. This is not the end. This is the beginning. It is going to take years for us to help rebuild our community, and we need philanthropic funding to help get to the nonprofits who are helping do that. And anyone who's interested in supporting it, we have a website, sdfoundation.org/COVID-19, where they can go and donate. And right now, we're in the middle of a matching gift from the Hervey family. They've contributed $1.5 million to match any contribution. So if you make a gift to the fund, the Hervey family will match it dollar to dollar right now. So it's a wonderful opportunity to really generate some more support.
Oh, we have a lot of generous people here, fortunately, in the San Diego area. Brian, can you give me an idea also on, some of the nonprofits that, if there's a nonprofit out there and perhaps they have not reached out to you, what's the best way? I mean, are you finding the nonprofits? Are the nonprofits having to contact the response fund if it needs help?
Yes, we've gotten hundreds of applications for the fund, and that's actually the good thing about a community foundation. We've been around for 4 decades, and we know the nonprofits, and we've been granting more than $1 billion to the San Diego community for the last 44 years. So we were able to quickly have the operational ability to know who the nonprofits are, get the dollars out the door, but they can also visit the website where we have applications for not only our grants, but also our loan program.
Very good. All right. Brian Zumbano, the Vice President of the San Diego Foundation, continuing to do philanthropic work that's going to help thousands in our community, those especially that are on the front lines of this COVID-19 crisis. We appreciate your time, Brian. We'll put some information on our website with a link to the foundation in case there are some San Diegans who can contribute or businesses who want to give to the cause. And we'll keep in touch with you.
Great. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.